Democrats in Congress have sent a letter to the former Prince Andrew, calling on him to testify before the House Oversight Committee about his links to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Now, a foreigner cannot be compelled to comply with any such request, and Andrew has always denied knowing anything about a sex trafficking ring, denies that he ever did anything wrong. But just the request has put the push for release of the Epstein files back in the headlines here and abroad. The ranking Democrat on the House Oversight Committee joins me now, Congressman Robert Garcia of California. It's good to see you once again. If you could get him to testify, again, behind closed doors, what would you want to know? What do you think he can add to this that's important?
We think the former prince actually has a lot of critical information to our investigation here with the Epstein files, obviously the cover-up that's happening at the Department of Justice, and all of the powerful and wealthy men that abused women and children in many cases here in the United States. And these women deserve justice. We think the former prince has critical information, not just about Jeffrey Epstein, but Ghislaine Maxwell, who else was involved, what men, powerful men, were gaining access to Epstein and committing these horrific crimes against these girls and women. We also think he has critical information around the financial crimes and all of the money and the money laundering that was happening going in and out of the United States, in some cases possibly from foreign governments or other powerful men across the world. And so all of this information, we believe, is critical. And we think the former prince has information that would really advance our investigation. Look, if Donald Trump and Pam Bondi would just release the Epstein files as they've been mandated to do, and as Trump promised during his campaign, we'd be able to actually bring justice today. But in lieu of that, we need people like former Prince Andrew to do now the right thing and to give us the information to help close this case.
Well, look, you say that there's things to be gained by it, although, again, most people think there's slim and no chance that he will come before you. And many Republicans, including MAGA supporters, kind of led the charge on this, at least initially. But no Republicans have signed on to your letter, right? Why?
Well, it's been clear. Republicans have now been complicit completely in the cover-up. I mean, look at Mike Johnson. He won't even seat Adelita Grijalva, the 218th vote, to compel a vote on the Epstein files being released to the full Congress. And so they are now part of this White House cover-up. Look, if you look at what's happening in the UK with the royal family and the government, they've actually treated this case. They've actually there's been actually repercussions for the former prince losing his royal titles. What's been happening to him and the media and the public putting pressure on him has been what should be happening here in our country in a bipartisan way. And I think it's an example of Republicans doing whatever Donald Trump tells them to do. It is clear Donald Trump does not want to release the files. It's also clear that there is information within the Department of Justice that likely would allow us and give us the ability to tell the story of all of the powerful men in this country who have abused children and girls. We are going to get to the truth. And the former prince should do the right thing and answer our questions. We've said as well, we'd be happy to travel there if you'd sit down with us and give us answers to the questions that we have, which we think are critical to the case.
So, Congressman, let me ask you about the other letter that was sent today to the White House requesting documents related to the president's pardon for the billionaire founder of Binance, the cryptocurrency folks. What are you hoping to reveal?
Well, we first want to ensure that records are preserved and that our questions are answered. It is outrageous that the president is giving out pardons, and as you know, is now denying the pardon or saying he didn't know anything about why the pardon happened, to someone that was accused and pled guilty to serious financial crimes, who then, of course, is dumping considerable amounts of money to grow the fortune of the Trump family. The idea that you can dump all this money into this scheme, to this fund created by Donald Trump, then you're receiving a pardon for crimes that person admitted to doing is corruption. This is the most corrupt administration in the history of the United States, and he's the most corrupt president that has ever served as president. And so every time that Donald Trump commits a crime or is engaging in this government corruption, we are going to be there in the Oversight Committee to ask the questions, document the information, and he rest assured, when we win the majority and we have the power to subpoena those documents directly, we're going to hold Donald Trump, his family, and his administration accountable for all the crimes and corruption.
Let me ask you finally about the shutdown. There are a lot of people suffering out there, from obviously people going hungry to the flying public. John Thune said something today that I want to get your reaction to. He says that the Democratic leadership is putting people in a box, that people who are part of the rank and file, they want to find compromise. They want to, in his words, do the right thing. And when our Ali Vitale asked, well, what do you think is holding them up? He said they're being browbeaten into submission. Is that what's happening?
John Thune obviously likes to lie as much as Donald Trump nowadays. Absolutely not. I mean, look, let's be really clear. We have been aggressive in trying to ensure that healthcare costs don't skyrocket for the American public. What we've been saying this whole time is, why do Republicans continue to pass Donald Trump budgets that essentially provide tax breaks for billionaires? Instead of actually keeping healthcare costs low or where they're at, they'd rather take all of everyone's hard-earned wealth and give it to the richest people in this country. And in this fight around this budget that's in front of us, we're saying enough. People can't afford their groceries, they can't afford their rent, they can't afford housing, and they certainly can't afford a spike in healthcare premiums, which is now beginning to happen across the country. And so what John Thune should do, as well as Mike Johnson, is bring us back into Congress. Mike Johnson has had us on vacation for over a month. Bring us back to D.C. and let's actually vote on a package that ensures that healthcare costs don't go up. And we're going to stick to that until they do the right thing for the American public.